So far this winter season, most of us have escaped the extreme winter weather with just a few exceptions. Up in New England right now, Boston area, New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, you're getting hit with some pretty heavy snow as we speak. And the West Coast, you've been getting hammered with some very strong storms, lots of rain along the coastal areas and snow in the higher elevations. But that's all going to change starting on Monday. This is the GFS forecast model. It's kind of confusing to see because there's a lot going on here. Let's give you a few perspectives of location. This is Texas. There's the storm system centered right over the Texas Panhandle. There's Lake Michigan. Here's the Gulf of Mexico. There's Florida. And there is California. This is Monday morning, already producing some snow in Colorado, Kansas, Nebraska, and up in the high plains. By Monday evening, the storm system is tapping a lot of Gulf of Mexico moisture, and that's helping to intensify it. You can see all those colors streaming up out of the Gulf of Mexico. Again, that's Lake Michigan. Here's Texas. There's Oklahoma. Here's the Gulf of Mexico. But it's also now starting to tap in some cold air swinging in behind it. There's Colorado. This area, right in this area there for Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, and Missouri, you're probably looking at some blizzard-like conditions Monday evening. Now by midnight, this is where it gets interesting for us here in the Midwest. You see all these colors. This is going to be some severe weather, flooding rains. You can get, again, there's Lake Michigan, there's Chicago, there's Texas, that's Oklahoma, that's the center of the storm. Here's Florida, here's the Gulf of Mexico, and there is Cincinnati. You see that purple area there in central Indiana? As this system continues to move up in this direction, it's going to bring up a lot of warm, moist air. But it's starting to get cold here in the Midwest. And so initially we could see a band of some very, very heavy wet snow late Monday night and on into Tuesday morning. Now, as far as the location, it's going to be very tricky, but based on this projection right here, I'll give you an update again tomorrow. But right now it looks like maybe Indianapolis, you're going to be right on that edge. Lafayette, Indiana, Kokomo, Fort Wayne, Springfield, Illinois, and up in Chicago, that's in this area, we'll see some very heavy snows late Monday night and on into Tuesday morning. Blizzard-like conditions back into the plain states, and looks like you're going to be seeing a lot of snow for you. This could be some flooding rain in the Ohio Valley, Tennessee Valley. Now, as far as Cincinnati area is concerned, or southern Ohio, it's going to be interesting. We may see a burst of some very heavy snow again late Monday night, early Tuesday, but it's quickly going to change over. As we can see here, this is by Tuesday afternoon. Even those of you in Indiana will switch over to some very heavy rains. Wouldn't rule out even some thunderstorms actually in our area of the country, but certainly strong to severe thunderstorms in the southeast, and that will work its way back into the state of Florida. In fact, Nancy showed me a video down in Fort Lauderdale on Saturday where you had a small tornado that ran through this downtown area of Fort Lauderdale. And looks like you could see some more severe weather on your Tuesday and on into Wednesday. This right here is going to be blizzard-like conditions, Missouri, Iowa, Wisconsin, but the center of the storm is just south of St. Louis. So watch what happens here. As we head on into Tuesday night, it moves a little bit further north. The wind's extremely strong. We could see gusts well over 40-50 miles per hour with this system. Blizzard-like conditions back in Iowa and Missouri and up in Wisconsin. Even those of you up in Michigan, looks like you may change over to some rain. The heavy snows, again, will precede this system up into the northeast before you change over to some rain. You can see thunderstorms here, severe weather there in the mid-Atlantic region. And then the cold air will start swinging in behind it, and all the moisture you see there in the Ohio Valley will switch over to some snow probably late Tuesday night and on into Wednesday morning. There's the severe weather down in Florida and along the mid-Atlantic coast. And by early Wednesday morning, you do see some snow throughout most of the Midwest. Heavy snows up in Canada. That will work its way up into New England. How much snow right now? We could see a couple of inches, but the winds are going to be gusting. Traveling conditions on Wednesday in the Midwest could be a little tricky. Now that's the first system. Let me show you the second system. And before I do though, let me explain something here. Notice the track of this last system right about right there. Okay, every time it moves through, it's going to bring in some colder air. So next system will shift a little bit further south, which means in this system, Wisconsin, Iowa, Missouri got the heavy snow. The next one, well, that may shift a little bit further south. So let me show you here. This is Friday night on into Saturday morning. You can see the system now is a little bit further south. If you remember, the last one on Monday was centered up here in the Texas Panhandle. This is the Gulf of Mexico. There's Lake Michigan. So now with the colder air in place, a lot of moisture again streaming up. Again, a very intense system. So the blizzard-like conditions now will shift a little bit further south. Could be in Arkansas, Missouri, southern Illinois, and southern Indiana. And then by Saturday morning, you see here the system moving up right around Cincinnati area. So Cincinnati, you could get some snow initially, but the blizzard-like conditions could easily be in central Indiana and northern Ohio, and that will work its way up towards the northeast. Yes, Illinois, Wisconsin, Iowa, Missouri, you will get hit once again with some very heavy snows. Okay, but also notice these blue lines here, how it's dipping down. This is some Arctic air just coming right out of the Arctic, the North Pole. So temperatures after this system moves through will be extremely cold. We might not even see highs out of freezing above 32 degrees by next weekend as this cold air moves its way in. The tricky part is there's another one coming in behind it. So we got a lot of cold air in place, and that's where the snow may affect maybe Kentucky, Tennessee, and certainly Ohio and Indiana a little bit more, but that's not for about a week and a half. We'll keep an eye on that. But this is for next weekend, so we'll keep an eye on it for you. But each storm that comes in now, as the cold air is in place, shifts a little bit further south, and as it does, the heavy snow will also shift a little bit further south. I'll be back tomorrow morning with another update, as this is a very dynamic system. I'm George, the Weather Dad.